1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
It doesn't help that I've never counted, but I don't know how many times I've heard Jerma claim that he could play the drums. Now, obviously, he's a beatboxing master. But as something of a drummer myself, Peter, I've always been somewhat curious, can Jerma actually drum? There's absolutely no reason anyone should care about this question or its answer at all. But strap in, because in the next several minutes, we're going to answer that question once and for all.
Oh yeah, time to show you how to play the drums. Everybody thought I was a liar. I'm about to prove to everybody that I can fucking play the drums for real.
Before we begin, let's review a few rudiments of rhythmic notation that will aid in the investigation. This is a measure, or bar, and it's one of the most fundamental structural units in music. A bar is comprised of any number of beats, which are equal and regular divisions of the bar in time. The most common number of beats in a measure is 4, and since they divide a single measure into 4 equal temporal units, or quarters, they're called quarter notes. Divide these in half and you get 8th notes. Do this again and you get 16th notes, and so on. Each such division of the beat is naturally called a subdivision, and we'll use these later on to analyze Jerma's drum patterns. With the rudiments of rhythm out of the way, let's move on to what I believe are the 3 pillars of any solid drummer. Good time, good technique, and good style. Ask any drummer who's played outside of their parents' basement with other musicians, and they'll tell you that rock-solid time is the single most important thing that the rhythm section needs to make a song groove. Every beat and every subdivision thereof needs to be perfectly evenly placed in time, and the space in between each beat and in between each subdivision needs to remain consistently the same. Otherwise, it'll sound like this.
Stop!
With this in mind, well, how's Jerma's time? Well, if this video isn't enough of a fever dream, here's a real fever.
Anybody want to invite me to their band? I'm pretty good at the Pringles.
Okay, shit. That seems like some damn solid time. But just to be sure, let's check the waveform.
I'm pretty good at the Pringles. I can't read. I'm pretty good at the Pringles. I can't read.
Shit, that's microscopic perfection.
Stop!
But good time's nothing without the proper technique on the kit to execute it. Now, drumming technique, at least in the Western European and American traditions that apply to this discussion, has a long and storied history dating all the way back to the barbaric age when people used to go to war and kill each other, all to the beat of a military march. Shit. Anyway, good drumming technique is not only essential to good sound quality from the instrument, but is also crucial to avoiding physical injury. Never mind the cannon fire. Drumming technique can be broken down into 2 parts: grip and stroke. There's traditional grip for military drummers, marching band nerds, and jazz drummers over the age of 40. And there's matched grip, where the hands mirror or match each other. Then, matched grip has a few main variations, including German grip with the palms pointed downward, French grip with the thumbs pointed upward, and something rather unnecessarily designated American grip, which basically means do whatever the hell you want in between. And answering the age-old question, who has the best grip, it really comes down to the application and desired sound. French grip, for example, allows finer finger control, while German grip is great for wrist control. Now, here's a question not to take out of context, but how's Jerma's grip? Let's take a look. Yeah, looks like a nice mixture of French and German matched grip, with a classic 3-point fulcrum evident in the right hand. He's clearly using a lot of arm to generate power, and consequently a somewhat darker, heavier tone color, but the basis of control is clearly coming from his wrists. Hold on, let's look at that again. Did Jerma just drop his controller? I mean stick? Well, he must be a shit drummer if he can't even hold on to the sticks, right? No. Actually, this moment only reinforces how good his technique actually is. You see, Joe Morello, you may recognize him from this. Joe Morello used to do an exercise with his drum students where he would have them play something, during which he would randomly slap their hands and try to knock the sticks out. If their technique was relaxed and loose, as it should be, the sticks would fall right out. And if their technique was bad, plagued by excess tension, they would keep tight and hold on to the sticks. As this clip clearly demonstrates, then, Jerma's grip is loose, relaxed, and comfortable, so much so that even a minor perturbation sends the controller flying from his calm and competent hand. Cyclops ain't got shit on that grip. Oh, and by the way,
Every musician keeps going.
to our last point, good style is somewhat subjective, but what's less subjective is stylistic appropriateness in a given musical context, and drummers usually achieve this by picking the right pattern for the right song. In Carmine Apice's Manual on Drum Patterns, the very first pattern he includes is perhaps the bedrock of all rock and pop drum rhythms, and it goes like this. Now, what really makes this pattern groove is to not only play it as written, but to shape it into a musical phrase by adding accents, a sort of pressure or stress on key beats to bring out those as important in the phrase. Non-accented offbeats should be played at a lower dynamic level, or quieter, to create contrast. This is all done by changing the stick height of the stroke, higher for accented notes, and lower for quieter offbeats. In the context of this pattern, it might sound something like this. The basis of style, then, at its simplest, is musicality. Not only picking the correct pattern for any given musical context, but also shaping that pattern into a true musical phrase using dynamics and articulations. Now, in his air drumming masterclass, Jerma demonstrates not only that he has this pattern on lock, but take a look at his right hand on the hi-hat. His strokes clearly aren't all beginning at the same height. He distinguishes between accented strokes on the downbeat and unaccented strokes on the offbeats. His playing, even away from the drums, is musical and refined. Now, as a drummer, about 30% of the time, you've got to go beyond basic patterns like that and improvise more substantially. But the other 70% of the time, well...
The other 70%? Molto bene.
Listen, I know exactly what you're thinking. In drumming, patterns aren't everything. It's the solos that earn the real glory. Well, when I think of solos, I can't help but think back to what my drum teacher introduced me to as the pinnacle of tasteful soloing. The legendary Philly Joe Jones and his trading fours with the Miles Davis Quintet in the jazz track Blues by Five. In this track, Jones gets a total of 10 drum solos, each of them 4 measures long, hence the trading fours, and each of them an individual, unique, and interesting musical expression. Check out the 6th solo of his, an almost exclusively snare drum chop fest. Shit, that goes by quick. Let's hear that one more time. Wait a minute. That's Jerma, not Jones. Damn it, I'm not even going to try to transcribe that. But did you hear how Jerma, just like the late great Philly Joe, crafted a compact and powerful solo using only the snare drum? A solo which increased in complexity over time, just like Jones, incorporating more rhythmic density towards the end and leading impactfully into a return of the pattern of the song after the solo. Never mind that I'm running out of evidence. It's got to be incontrovertibly clear to you now that Jerma absolutely can drum, and he can do it with the best of them. He's got the time, the technique, probably the best grip of them all, and the undeniable style. It's only a shame that we never got that farewell tour.